Please sit down.
Vakar, zinat, kas sēž jūs priekšā, zinat, ka tas ir viņa svētības Dalailamas pārstāvis, vēstnieks, sauciet kā gribat šo amatu. Ziemeļvalstīs, proti Skandināvijā, Baltijā, Lielbritānijā, Īrijā un Polijā, tātad arī Latvijā. Es domāju, no sākuma mēs ļausim, lai viņš pastāsta nedaudz no tā, ko viņš vēlas teikt šīs vizītes laikā apciemojot Rīgu. Un es viņam palūdzu, ka pēc tam būs iespēja tā kā vairāk laika veltīt jautājumiem un atbildēm, jo liela daļa no klātesošiem ir dažādo budistu kopienu pārstāvji, kuriem visiem interesē viens jautājums par viņu svētības vizīti. Es domāju, ka mēs varētu arī to kā šreiz jautāt, un šeit ir vēstule, kur tiks iesniegt viņam. So I think you can start to say what you would like to about the situation in Tibet and aims of your visit here, and then we can let people ask you.
Hello, I'm happy to see you all. I think some of you I met 2 years ago. I was here. I don't know how much you've been following. The situation in Tibet is very grim, very sad. Do most people understand English?
Yes.
It's very sad. His Holiness the Dalai Lama and many Tibetans are in a situation where many questions. Why is this happening? And all the Tibetans who are self-immolating now, 170 so far, out of that 90 have died. The situation is so bad that Tibet people are resorting to this. And most of the people who are self-immolated are young Tibetans. And part of the reason that I've come is mainly because when I came last time, 2 years ago, I visited Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and I felt that there was a real sympathy for the Tibetan struggle in the Baltic, because people in Baltic felt that they've lived through something similar experience. And when I left Baltic, I spoke to many Tibetans, and including His Holiness also. I said, unlike the kind of support that we see in other countries like America, Canada, Australia, Europe, in the Baltic, the support is very different in nature because people really feel they know exactly what the Tibetans are experiencing. And I felt that it's good for the Tibetan community to focus all our efforts in Baltic, because right now we are all over the world. Tibetans in Australia are trying to work with Australian government, Tibetans in Canada with Canadian government, Tibetans in England with English government. And it's very difficult because China is so big, so powerful today. Even though many nations have sympathy for Tibet, but at the same time, they want to do business with China. And the Chinese government threaten many of these countries. If you want to do business with us, you cannot meet with the Dalai Lama, you cannot support Tibet, things like this. It happens all the time. Wherever Dalai Lama travels, he travels along. Every university, every organization where his Holiness is invited, the Chinese embassy goes and tries to convince the organizations not to invite the Dalai Lama, uninvited. So the situation is very grim. But on the other hand, some hopeful signs which I would like to share with you is, I think some of you may have noticed, there are more and more Chinese in China who are Buddhists are turning to Tibetan Buddhism. Many come to Dharamsala, for example, and many go to different lamas. So there is a growing interest among Chinese Buddhists in Tibetan Buddhism. That in some ways it helps us because they become in some ways Tibetan sympathizers and they have Chinese friends and families. That helps. The other good sign is also many young Chinese and Chinese academics feel that the Chinese government should have a dialogue with the Dalai Lama and resolve the Tibetan question. And many of them have written open letters to the Chinese government. So these are positive signs. Now lately, the other good thing is the Chinese new president, Xi Jinping, who is coming into power next week. He's taking over as presidency for Hu Jintao. Xi Jinping said recently, and it was in the newspaper reported, that he warned the Chinese government party members that unless the Chinese government does some major reform, Communist Party is going to collapse in China. Communist China will not see the 100th anniversary. Now, something like that, a statement coming from the new president, we've never seen anything like this before, which is a positive sign. Perhaps he's saying we need to change. So that may include the way they look at Tibet. Up to now, many Chinese leadership, their thinking is, Dalai Lama is getting old. Let the Dalai Lama die, Tibetans die with it. So it's finished. But now, new group is saying that that's wrong calculation. Dalai Lama is our best opportunity. While he's alive, if there is some resolution between the Chinese government and the Dalai Lama's representative, then there's a possibility. While the Dalai Lama is gone, even if the Chinese government wants to talk to the Tibetans, they may not find a partner. You see, it's very possible that Tibetans could become different factions, different groups. No one leader. So all these things are, which is positive sign.